Hello 8th class. I wish you all a very good morning. In previous classes we were doing chapter number 9, that is algebraic identities and expressions. It was a very important question from exam point of view and from the application in practical life. It is very applicable in physics and other subjects also. So we have completed that in our previous class. Now we are going to start with a new chapter, that is data handling. It has application in statistics and other fields. Data handling, first we are going to talk about what is data and why do we need to handle the data. The data, whatever in our daily life, we collect the data, collect the raw data. Raw data, like you have heard in computer, it is used to uh, find out the information. Suppose you want to compare the height of class, height of your class from class 7th to class 8th. What is the difference in and what are the changes in the heights of class from the previous year to this year? What you will do, you will write the height of every student from your class. Then next year you will again collect that. The collection of the heights of the class is the raw data. You will write it somewhere. Then you will organize it. If you write simply 5 feet, 5.2 feet, 5 feet 2 inch, 5.3 inch and 4.10 like this, you won't be able to understand it. Won't make a meaning. You need to organize it. You can organize by writing names with heights, or you can write roll number with heights and so on. That is your organizing your data. You collected the data, you organize the data. Then you represent your data. You can represent your data by a graph, by something, by using pictures or anything like that. So we need to handle the data to make inferences from that, to make it useful. We handle the data. So we are going to start with representing the data. In data handling we have two things, in fact three things. First is representation of data. Then we have organization of data. Organization of data. Then we have the organization, and in it we have grouping of data. Or you can write it as a different point also, grouping of data. After that we have many steps, but we are going to talk about this in our class. So first is representation of data. In representation of data we have basically three ways. First is by using pictures. So you can write by pictograph. In pictograph, what we do, we use symbols or pictures to represent our data. Okay. So how do we do that? Suppose we want to show the sale in different months. Okay, the sale in different month. Sale and month. And we have data for 6 months. Jan, Feb, March, April, May and June. And we have numbers for the sale. Suppose we have 100 for this, 200 for this, 150 for this, 400 for April, then suppose 200 for May and 300 for June. Suppose we have this data and we want to represent, this is very boring kind of representation, you can say. We want to make it more presentable. What we will do, we will use some symbols. Suppose this is your sale of grain, sale of grains. Okay, so I am going to use the symbol. I am going to use 3 leaves is equal to 100 kg. Okay, 100 kg. Okay, and if I want to show 50, then I will be using half of it. It will be 50 kg. Okay, so how will I represent 100? 100 means I have to make 1. 200 means I have to make 2 symbols. 150 means I have to make 1 whole and 1 half symbol. 400 means I have to make 4 such symbols. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Then 200. 1, 2. Then 300. It will be like this. Okay. This representation is more easily understandable. You just need a look at the representation of data and you will understand that in this month it is the highest sale and in this month we are having the lowest sale. In these we have comparable number of sales. So easy representation, I guess it was 300, so it is going to be 3. So easy representation, catchy representation, we need pictograph. Pictograph was using symbols. You can use any kind of symbols, you can use grains, you can use stars, you can use squares, etc. Whatever you want. The second is using bar graphs. We have done bar graphs in our previous class also. Second is our bar graph. Bar graph is display of information using bars of equal width. It is display of, bar graph is display of information using bars of uniform width. Okay, every bar is having uniform width and they are going to have space. So with equal space in between, with equal space in between. In bar graphs, the height of bar, in bar graphs, the height of bar is proportional to the respective values. Whatever value is given, if it is less, then the height of bar is going to be less, and if it is on the higher side, then the height of bar is going to be higher. The height, bar height, or you can say that bar height gives the quantity for each category. Okay, it gives the quantity for each category. We have already done that. Bar graphs, will not be repeating that again. Next we have double bar graph. In double bar graphs are usually used for comparison of data. If we have the same kind of data for 2 different years or 2 different farms or something like that, then we are going to use double bar graph. Double bar graph. mostly for comparison of data. Like comparison of height, we will be using double bar graph. It shows double bar graph shows two sets of data simultaneously. In one bar graph we show two sets of data. Simultaneously. It is useful for comparison of data. And as in bar graph, the height of the bar is used to represent the quantity of that particular category. Double bar graph. This was your representation of data, pictograph, bar graph and double bar graph. Now we are going to do some examples. It is try these, page number 71. We are doing a representation of data. Try these. Page is 71. Okay. So we have to draw an appropriate graph to represent the given information. In question number 1, we have the month and we have number of watches sold. And in it we have months July, August, September, October, November, December. October, November and December. And number of watches sold is 1,500, again 1,500, then 2,000, then 2,500 and then 1,500. We have to tell what kind of graph, what kind of method we are using for representing this data and why we are representing this. This we can use two methods. We can use pictograph or we can use bar graph. We are going to show the both methods. First we are going to draw the pictograph. Pictograph may we need to choose a symbol. So because we have watches, that we will do, we will make a symbol. Suppose this is your watch. Okay, not going to make that. Only this. This is your watch and it represents how many watches? It represents 500 watches. Because why? Because 500 is HCF to everyone. I can divide every number by 500, not 5,000. 500. 500 is HCF of every number in the table. So I am going to take this as the symbol. Now I want to show my data. What I'll write? I'll write number of watches sold. Okay. First I am going to write the month. Then number of watches sold. It is July, August, September, October, November and December. This is my table. Now I have to show for data for July. July it is 2,000. It means I have to make how many watches? I have to make 2 watches. 2 watches will make it 1,000 because 1 is equal to 500. August may we have 1,500. It means I have to make 3 watches. How I am finding how many watches I have to make? I am dividing this number by this number. 1,000 by 500, I am getting 2, I will draw 2. 1,500 by 500, I am getting 3, I will draw 3. 3 Then 1500 by 500, I am going to draw 3 again. 1, 2 and 3. Then 2000 by 500, it is going to be 4. So I will draw 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay. Then we have 2500, it is going to be 5. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. 5 watches to represent 2500. Then in December we have 1500, so we have to represent the data using 3 watches, 3 symbols. So this is our representation of data using pictograph. In this I have used the symbol, you can use any symbol of your own choice. So this is our data, and I can clearly look at this representation and tell that in this month they are having the maximum sale, and in this one they are having the less sale. In this and this month they are having equal number of sale, and so on. We can draw the inference from the pictograph very easily. Now I am going to solve this same question using bar graph. I am going to represent the data using bar graph. And as we have discussed in our previous class, 7th class last year, that for bar graph you need to have a scale. First you need to set a scale. You have to have 2 axes and you have to have one scale. So I have data up to 1000, so I will use the scale as 1 unit is equal to 500 watches. Okay, on y-axis. And which one is y-axis? I am saying that this one is your x-axis and this one is your y-axis. This is your 0. On x-axis I am representing the month. In bar graph, if you remember, you represent your data using bars of equal width with equal gaps in between. So we are going to follow that. We have to show first July, this is July. Then equal bar August, then equal bar September, then equal bar October, then equal bar November, and then equal bar, and we have December. Okay, this is our x-axis, and here we are representing months. Here what are we representing? Months. On y-axis we have to represent the number of watches sold. We have number of watches sold. Here we are representing number of watches sold. I have taken unit scale as 1 unit as 500 watches. So 1 unit is 500, 2 unit is 1000, 3 unit is 1500, 4 unit is this, and 5 unit is 2500. I guess this is the highest amount, so I am going to stop here. Y-axis. Okay. Now I am going to draw my bars. First I am going to draw for July. In July I have 1000, so I am going to draw it 1000. Okay. I am going to write a number on top for easy access of data. Then August we have 1500, so I am going to draw 1500. It is 1500. Then September again 1500. Okay. August, September, October. October is 2000, so October is going to be 2000. Then November is going to be 2500. It is going to be like this, 2500. Okay, and in December it is 1500. In this number it is 1500. So it is going to be like this. Of course, this is a rough scale and rough representation. You guys will be using proper graph and proper scale and pencil representation. It will be more neat and clean. So this is the bar graph for example 1, and we have shown the data using bars of equal width with equal gaps in between. This is how we do it. We have to first decide a scale. Then we label our axis. Once number of watches sold, we represent our axis. Then we draw our bars. And the last step is you have to give a suitable title to your bar graph. This graph is showing what? This graph is showing number of watches sold in different months. So I don't have space, so I'm just going to dictate. It is this graph. You will write below this. This is the graph represents number of watches sold in different months, and your bar graph will be complete. Representation using bar graph will be complete. Now we are going to move onwards to the question number 2 of try these. Question number 2 of try these, we have two sets of data. Children, number of children who prefer walking, okay, number of children who prefer first is walking, second one is cycling. Okay, in it we have 3 schools, A, B and C. These are schools. Okay, schools A, B, C. It is 40, 45, 55, 25, 15 and 35. So we have now 2 sets of data and we are doing comparison. It means what we will use, first we will decide what we are going to use. We are going to use double bar graph, no doubt about that. We need to use double bar graph. Like we did in bar graph, we are going to set a scale. So scale, we have on one side, on one axis, this is your x-axis and this is your y-axis. On one axis we are going to represent schools A, B or C, whatever we have. On one side we have to write preference of children. That is alright. On this side we are representing this, and on this side we are representing schools. You can change the axis also. You can represent your schools here, you can represent your preference of children here. Whatever suits you. So now preference of children. We have the lowest number as 15 and the highest number as 55. So we can take one in it as 5 children or 10. I am going to take it as 10. One on y-axis, I am going to set the scale now. On y-axis, 1 unit is equal to 10 children. I am going to take 10. If you have space, you can take it as 5 children also. So this one is 10. This one is 20. This one is 30. This is 40. This is 50 and 60. Okay, 60. Now I have to draw the schools. Now for each school we have 2 sets of data. So accordingly, I am going to leave space for 2 bars. This is school A. This is your school A. School A. Then I am going to leave the space. I am going to represent data for school B. 2 bars because 2 activities, school B. Then again I am going to leave some space and leaving 2 bars for school C. School C. Now I have to represent 2 data, walking and cycling. I am going to draw bar for each one. For school A it is 40 and 45. 40, it is, this is 40. Then 45, this is 45. Now these bars are looking equal and they are creating confusion. So what we will do, what we always do in double bar graph, we represent these both activities using some different kind of shading or numbering, you can say. We are going to shade. So we are going to write here this, if the bar is blank, it is walking. But if it has lines in it, it means we are talking about cycling. So we can distinguish these two sets using shade lines and no lines. So walking was 40 and it is here 45. Now school B. School B we have 55. So 55 is going to be here. 55 is going to be here. Because it is walking, we are going to leave it as it is. Then we have 25. 25 is going to be here. 25. And because it is cycling, we are going to put the lines. Then school C, 15. 15 is this one. And cycling is 35. Cycling is 35. So it is going to be like this, and we are going to put the bars. You can write your numbers, height of the bars here to avoid any confusion. This is 25, this is 55, this is 45, and this is 40. Again, we can use lines or we can use some other symbol for this also. You can use dots for this. But whatever you are using, you have to represent in your, you have to tell your representation what you are using for what activity. So you have done your axis, you have chosen your scale, you have represented your data. The last step is you have to give a suitable name to your bar graph, your double bar graph, and it is showing what? It is showing the preference of children. It is showing the preference of children for walking and cycling for 3 different schools. So you will write that title. You have to give the title also. Okay? You have to do that by yourself. So now question is, can you use pictograph for this question? Can you use that? This is the question that you need to ponder about, and we will discuss that in class. Question number 3 is, again it contains 2 sets of data. Of course we can't use bar graph, but we have the third option, that is pictograph. Can that be used? Think about that. Question number 3, again we have 3 sets of data. In it we have percentage wins in ODI by 8 top cricket teams. It is on page number 71. We have teams, that is South Africa, Australia, Sri Lanka, New Zealand, and England, and Pakistan, West Indies, and India. And then we have 2 sets of data. One is from Champions Trophy to World Cup, how the percentage win. It is 75%, 61, this and this. And the percentage win in last 10 ODI, one day matches in 07 year, okay, different years. This is this. So we have 2 different sets of data. We are going to use double bar graph for this. So this is homework for you guys. So with this question we are ending the class for today. In next class we are going to start with organization of data. Have a good day.